Welcome, everybody. We are going to go ahead and get started. I want to be the first to welcome you to the 2026 Summer Keyfactor product update. Today's theme is Built for Change. So I'm going to say we get started here. Today, you're going to be hearing from myself, Alex Dio, and also shortly, our Chief Product and Technology Officer, Gun Akor, will be joining us as well. The topics for today, going through an introduction currently, and then I'm going to be able to show you a very exciting new thing called the trust control plane. Step you through why it matters, what it is, and what we're doing there. We're then going to hear from Goon, who's going to step us through the roadmap of Keyfactor across our product suite. Then we'll get into customer updates with upcoming events and additional other information. And lastly, the part that I would think is probably the most exciting part, an interactive Q&A with our product team. Product managers and product experts will be joining, and we'll be able to field live questions on air to make sure we're answering them. All right, so let's dive into Keyfactor strategy. Across the board, we're seeing four forces converge. First, we're seeing identity sprawl driven primarily by AI. That's every workload and agent, and it introduces a new machine identity, and that growth is exponential. Second, renewal cycles are compressing. You've likely heard about the shrinking life cycle of public TLS certificates. Those certificates that protect public-facing websites and applications have to be rotated now 12 times more frequently, and you have 3 years to prepare for that. Third, cryptographic risk is becoming time-bound. Quantum is really putting a real deadline on today's cryptography. And finally, regulations are zeroing in on visibility and control. Between PCI DSS, NIS2, and DORA, they're demanding proof and proof of progress. The bottom line here is we are quickly shifting away from a world where cryptography was configured once and just left alone in the corner, to a world where it is unpredictable and constantly changing. But before we go further, let's just level set on what's actually underneath all of this. Every digital interaction that we have, this event right now, every website visit, every API call, workload connection, or even AI agent action depends on trust being verified. That trust is built on machine identities and cryptography. It's what we call trust infrastructure. It's not an abstract theory, it's keys, certificates, protocols, signing systems, PKI, all running in your environment right now, today. The easiest way that I like to think about this is it's like power, electricity. When it works, nothing happens. My wife's not yelling at me. It's a good day. But when it fails and the power goes out, everything stops and chaos ensues and I get yelled at. I don't know why it's my problem, but it is. The problem is this, that most organizations just don't have a clear picture of their trust infrastructure. Different teams own different fragments, and it's not managed as one cohesive system. So what you end up with is tools and processes scattered across the entire organization. That means that security teams don't have the visibility or context to proactively identify and remediate the risk. And ultimately, they feel like they don't have control. So if the problem is visibility and lack of control, the question naturally becomes, how do we actually operate this as a system? And that's what we've built. We call this the trust control plane. The trust control plane is a unified operating model that brings visibility, coordination, automation, and governance to the systems, machine identities, and cryptographic assets that underpin digital trust. Rather than managing certificates, keys, PKI, signing systems, and cryptographic operations each in isolation, the trust control plane operates trust infrastructure as one continuous system of control across 5 interconnected stages. So working from the left, we start by observing, being able to see everything across your environment. Not just certificates, but keys, workloads, algorithms, pipelines. It's a complete and always current inventory with context. That context gives us insight into things like ownership, usage, dependencies, and risk. The context is key for that next stage too, which is analyze. Understanding the risk and prioritizing the action. So instead of reacting or guessing, you actually know what matters. And that includes real-time risk analysis prioritized by impact. So that could be expired or weak, non-compliant PQC vulnerable algorithms, dashboards and reporting for operators, security leaders, and even executives, and validation that lifecycle actions like renewals, rotations, deployments actually succeeded. Measurable baselines for cryptographic posture and PQC readiness lead to then provisioning. This is a standardized, policy-driven identity assurance across machines, workloads, and now AI agents, because we all know we're all using AI. This is accomplished through modern, flexible PKI supporting both private and public trust. High assurance signing for code, firmware, documents, and artifacts help us to establish a quantum resilient foundation ready for post-quantum cryptographic standards. And next, we have orchestration. So this is the identity and cryptographic operations that run automatically at scale across environments without manual steps. We do this through an extensive ecosystem of pre-built integrations plus extensible APIs for any system across the stack. Any self-services workflows that remove friction for developers and infrastructure teams. And rounding this out, lastly, is governing, where we enforce policy consistently across the system. This isn't just defining policy on paper or in a book, but it's actually ensuring that it's applied everywhere throughout the Keyfactor platform. This includes automated enforcement embedded directly into operations through RBAC, ownership, and approval workflows. Automated responses to policy violations, like being able to rotate, revoke, or escalate. And continuous compliance evidence for auditors, because we all know they come a-knocking, regulators, and even our bosses, the executives. Really quick, I like to make this as interactive as possible, even though it is a digital webinar. So I have a quick question for you, and you should see a poll question launch here momentarily. We'd like to hear if you are interested in learning more about this trust control plane that we're introducing you to. And while you're answering that, let me just wrap up my portion real quick here, and I'll hand it over to Goon, who is probably the better star on stage today. These stages that we've discussed in the trust control plane operate as a continuous control loop, not just a linear workflow. So where discovery informs risk-based decisions, automation carries them into action, and governance validates every step against the policy. The result is a single adaptive system that evolves alongside infrastructure, threats, and cryptographic change. Trust infrastructure establishes digital trust, but the trust control plane operationalizes it. And now, Goon has joined me on stage. I'm going to hand it over to Goon so we can learn more about the product roadmap. Goon, all yours. I'll stop sharing and you can go and take over.
Thank you, Alex, for setting the stage for me. Let me quickly share my screen and we get started. All right. As we talk about our trust control plane product strategy, I think it's important to mention that the trust control plane is not just a product strategy for us in how we are building our portfolio, but it's also a mind shift in how we look at our portfolio and what they do and how they interact with one another, but also a mind shift for our customers in how they look at what they need to do with our products as they manage this trust infrastructure. So I'll do a little bit a different strategy today and talk about the roadmap, not around our portfolio products and their capabilities and features, but within the context of this life cycle with different stages, so that we can start sharing our mind shift into how we view our products and how you should operationalize it. With that, the first one in the cycle is observe. As Alex was mentioning, the cryptography that powers your business, powers your enterprise, is not just managing that is not just an infrastructure problem anymore. It's a cybersecurity challenge. It's an operational problem. And I guess everybody would agree with me that any good cybersecurity program, any good operational system starts with having a good inventory, having good visibility into the assets that you have to actually manage with this with that enterprise. So at Keyfactor, we do this with introduction of AgileSec. AgileSec is the most comprehensive cryptographic posture management product in the market. It gives you a single source of truth across a wide range of cryptographic assets that might be in your enterprise, so that any program that you build on top of it, whether it's prioritization, whether it's risk assessment, whether it's remediation, or whether it's governance, you start that with the most comprehensive inventory that you can build for your enterprise across a wide range of cryptographic assets. And we do that through integrations to a number of different sources. Sources across hosts that can scan directories, folders, certificate stores in those hosts, to applications, HSMs, and other tools that you use in your enterprise that might be already collecting some of these cryptographic assets. A lot of the questions that I get from customers as we talk about AgileSec's capability to build the most comprehensive cryptographic source and inventory is, what if I have different connections? What if I have different tools that already have some of this data? Do you have to go and put and scan everything by yourself? And the answer is no. We want to be able to work with your ecosystem and integrate to any type of tools that you can have, whether it's key management systems, whether it's other network inventory tools, whether it's your GitHub, Artifactory, CI/CD pipelines, different HSMs, all in one place with an extensive set of sensors to pull into the AgileSec backend so that you can have the inventory, the source of truth, risk, and governance all in one place. How about analyze step? Obviously, the beginning of analysis is prioritizing risk. All of us are dealing with a wide range of cryptographic assets, whether it's lifecycle management, whether it's post-quantum migration. Where we need to start is understanding where risk lies and prioritize it so that we can manage our backlog. One enhancement that is coming up along that analysis lifecycle stage is the risk intelligence module that is available to those of you who are using Command in our SaaS environments, our hosted environments. Risk intelligence is an additional module that works with Command and the inventory of certificates that you have in Command, but builds risk intelligence through both third-party systems like the Census IO data and certificate transparency logs and other information that may reveal domains and certificates that might be belonging to your organization but not be under your management, along with data from AgileSec integration with our source inventory we talked about, and its companion module, Cipher Insights, which looks at network data to identify certificates that might be in your enterprise environment, might be making connections or using connections, however, is not under your management. It combines this data with a lot of other intelligence data point, as simple as sometimes missing fields or incorrect fields, to more risky certificates that may have weak keys, and gives you the most easily consumable risk score so that you can start prioritizing where you want to put your energy in revoking, renewing, and otherwise managing your certificates in your environment. In previous versions of Command, this risk intelligence information was a little bit hard to find embedded in the metadata field of certificate details. With the upcoming version, now it's a new tab within the certificate details so that it's easily consumable. You can look at the details, you can understand how the score is formed. Along the same lines, obviously, I think Alex mentioned this, right? Sometimes we need to share this information, share how our migration program or how our certificate lifecycle management program is progressing. to our business stakeholders, make ROI decisions, or even communicate to our bosses, as Alex put it. When we do that, we want to be able to have a better reporting capabilities. And within Command, we are releasing a new reporting engine. And this builds upon the changes that we did for the dashboards. For those of you who are running a newer version of Command, we'll have the new dashboards that are customizable and uses widgets and the collections that we have in Command to pull different dashboard views into your customized space. We are taking the same type of approach. Now we are bringing into building reports, so you can actually use collections and pull in graphs, other data into your report and export it, so that what you are reporting out as a business owner is not, a set of just CVS files with certificates in it, but actionable intelligence for other business stakeholders to understand how they are progressing, how you are progressing in your program. Let's switch gears to provision. Obviously, provisioning includes everything that we do as Keyfactor to help you establish new trust, whether this is trust to AI agents, whether it's trust for new post-quantum pipelines, or whether it's trust for code signing and document signing for purposes. Obviously, this is the bread and butter of what Keyfactor has been doing for many years and where we have great expertise. We continue to build upon that expertise and make sure that we are staying ahead of the curve as new standards and technologies come to the market. On that front, one update that I have today is our support for composite certificates. We now support this with EJBCA and also use it in our signing solutions to sign and timestamp. Composite certificates are gaining momentum in the market. Both NIST and IATF are, increasingly taking composite certificates as the right way to approach a post-quantum transition. Composite certificates put classical algorithms and post-quantum algorithms in a single certificate under one binding. And this gives you the strongest resilience with dual algorithm protection. So, as long as one of the algorithms are secure, then you can do the validation. And this is gaining momentum because obviously the post-quantum standards are coming and they are available, but they are still relatively untested. They are quite new. And it's likely that there will be changes to those standards. There will be new ones coming up, or there might be weaknesses identified in some of those. Whereas the classical cryptography that we have right now, like RSA, it's battle tested. It's been in the field for a while, and it's likely to be still secure for a number of years to come. So if you are looking into transitioning into a post-quantum PKI, I think thinking of building your infrastructure around the use of composite certificates in this transition period, while perhaps maintaining a post-quantum infrastructure parallel to it while you experiment with other algorithms or other tools. Of course, needless to say, HSM expansion is an ongoing investment for us across both EJBCA and signing products. We want to be able to support the largest set of HSMs, but also make sure that as these HSM vendors come up with post-quantum ready models and products, we are there and you can use it with our products. So this is a growing list of HSMs, and it will continue to be a investment area for us, obviously, within the next multiple quarters. Another thing that I'm excited about is the introduction of the ACME device attestation. This is an extension of the ACME protocol that's traditionally used for attesting domain control of a server. Now, with this extension of the ACME protocol, you can actually use it to do hardware-backed attestation of devices to be able to deploy certificate to only trusted devices. So the protocol itself takes the hardware-backed signature that the device can provide, attaches to the ACME protocol, to the issuing certificate authority, and then the certificate authority validates and deploys the certificates to manage device. That way, you can automate device trust at enterprise scale using EJBCA and this extension of the ACME protocol at enterprise scale, in addition to the attestation for domain ownership. And of course, we are continuing monitoring how can we help securing the identities of AI agents. Of course, before AI agents can be securely deployed and used in your workflows, whatever enterprise system you are thinking about automating some of these workflows with AI agents, establishing trust and establishing trusted identities is the first starting point. And in that, we have a number of initiatives. Of course, we can deploy certificates using EJBCA and other existing methodologies, especially in containerized environment with protocols like implementations like SFIFI and mesh architectures. But we are also researching how we can help translate the identities that we can establish with these AI agents using certificates, but then use that identity to potentially exchange it for API tokens or other identities these AI agents will need in order to touch your enterprise systems, whether it's an HR system or whether it's a Jira system or your Salesforce within the enterprise. How can we enable use of AI agents with trusted identities? If you're interested in some of reference architectures or our direction in terms of how some of our products can be used within this framework, we have a number of good technical white papers at keyfactor.com. I encourage you all to take a look at it. And if you want to have a follow-up conversation on some of these and our position on what's the best practices, obviously, myself and our product team will be happy to have that conversation. But one thing that is quite exciting to highlight here along the same lines is prompt signing and verification. So this is an emerging area where there's increasing interest, and we are working with some partners within the ecosystem on making this available within agentic frameworks. What this does is, technically, if you look at agents executing different prompts, these are all code, right? That can execute in an environment, in a container. And the verification of the prompt is as important as verification of the identity of the agent executing it. And with multiple agent frameworks where agents are talking to one another, it is becoming increasingly important to secure these directives that they execute by signing solutions. So this is a reference architecture that I'm sharing on how you can use SignServer to actually sign the prompts and then verify it with, for example, using a library like Bouncy Castle that we maintain at Keyfactor in order to verify the signatures. And we are working with our partners at Microsoft. Microsoft has a agentic framework. I think it's called Microsoft Agentic Framework, MEF. And we are looking to make this prompt signing and verification part of that framework as part of our partnership. All right, let's move to orchestration. Of course, everything that Alex started our conversation today, more AI agents, shortening life cycles, post-quantum migration, a lot of it requires automation and automated lifecycle management. Human in the loop, human only lifecycle management manually will not scale. And we won't be able to meet the deadlines that are essentially being imposed by us with these changes. So orchestration is a central part of how we are making sure that when you are building your trust control plane, with the help of our products, it becomes a key aspect of what you do day to day, whether you're automating issuance or renewals, or you are integrating with other products in your environment for remediation. A couple things along the automation and self-service side. One thing that we are investing heavily on is our customer portal. For those of you who are using our hosted solutions, especially EJBCA and signing solution, are familiar with our customer portal. We recently introduced Command SaaS in our new architecture with the customer portal, so that you can actually manage a number of important aspects of deploying and leveraging command from the customer portal, including how to deploy orchestrator packages, how to deploy your gateways, how can you view logs if you're a SaaS customer, if you have any issues, and of course how you can reach to documentation, support for your things that you need to download depending on your deployments. Customer portal will be an expanding foundation of the trust control plane, where we will be building more and more capabilities across products that you can actually manage from one place. Obviously, right now it is more readily available for those of you who are using our hosted SaaS solutions. But the idea is to make this available on premises as well as we move forward, because at the end of the day, we believe that there will be a mixture of architectures and capabilities that may live in cloud and may live in on-prem, and you need to have this single entry point for all your products that you manage across the Keyfactor portfolio. Couple of things that I'm quite excited around Command, and when it comes to automation and orchestration or reducing the manual overhead. One is reusable workflows. Up until now, if you have an alert that you define in Command, it could only have a single mapping to a workflow. So it was a one-to-one mapping between that alert and the workflow. What that meant is that if you have if you're an alert that has a similar workflow, then you had to replicate the workflow, create another one, and attach that to the second alert. With this enhancement, what we are getting is the ability to reuse workflow. So now you can have multiple alerts mapping to a single workflow. That cuts down on the effort to actually keep defining similar workflows or similar alerts across your environment, but also reduces the risk of actually making mistakes or doing the manual effort to copy paste things, so that the environment remains more consistent, and you can accelerate the automation workflows by reusing what has already been defined in your environment. Similarly, the orchestrator pooling is coming up very soon with Command. It's again, the aim is to make sure that at scale automation works better. Up until now, the mapping between your search stores and your orchestrators were also static and one-to-one. What that meant is if you are managing 1,000 search stores and if you had 10 orchestrators, then you essentially map 100 search stores to a single orchestrator, and that mapping was static. And if you are unlucky and if you have alerts and workflows that end up being related to the search stores that are mapped to the same orchestrator, that meant that orchestrator is now trying to service multiple workflows while the other ones that you have are idling. And that may lead to delay workflows, or in worst case, times out and other operational issues that causes the workflows not to run correctly. So we are changing that. Now you can map search stores to multiple orchestrators to a pool, and the backend manages the load balancing between those orchestrators. So if multiple search stores needs to run a workflow, then they will be using the orchestrator pool rather than just a single orchestrator that may become a bottleneck. So this is allowing for large-scale automation without any performance degradation that could have been the case previously. Going back to AI, I talked about how we are securing AI agents through signing prompts or issuing trusted identities to AI agents. The other aspect of leveraging, AI and AI-driven orchestration in our products is to actually enable MCP servers for all our products. MCP is a model context protocol, which is now the prevalent way of making products agent available by using existing APIs of those products, but using this MCP server in the middle as a proxy. We have this in experimental fashion for comment available already. And EJBCA and AgileSec integrations are in the works and will be available in the second half of this year. Right now, we are building mostly read-only workflows into these MCP servers as we operationalize it. But even with only read-only, you can use it right now, connect it to your favorite agent framework, use Claude AI, and use prompts and language-based interaction to actually get insights. And down the road, we'll be able to also orchestrate and automate some of those to actions. So you can query for certificates that are renewing or certificates that are most risky, certificates that might be living in a certain location, and get that information using prompts rather than having to code APIs around it with help of this MCP servers. While we talk about automation and automation at scale, one thing to highlight here is our existing integrations and the integrations that we are continuously improving with ServiceNow. ServiceNow is at the heart of a lot of enterprises' automation workflows, and a lot of our customers are using ServiceNow as the starting and the ending point of an automation workflow when they think of how they will use it within their larger ecosystem, because ServiceNow may have the information about the devices, about the owners, in terms of how the enterprise organizes application owners, for example. So it is critical that we integrate both on the EJBCA, AgileSec, and Command side with ServiceNow so that you can tie our products into the workflows. Command has recently announced a V2 version of our application, and a V3 version is in the works. So we'll continue to deliver more value out of these integrations as the year goes on. And then we are working to update the AgileSec integration with ServiceNow as well in the second half to be compatible with the latest versions of ServiceNow application itself. When we talked about the trust control plane, of course, a key part of it is to be able to end-to-end manage this life cycle that we've been talking about. I mentioned that with AgileSec, you can start with the inventory observation. Then you can use both AgileSec's own priority model and governance with risk intelligence that Command enables in order to get more context, and then basically orchestrate with some of the Command workflows that I mentioned in order to manage the life cycle of these assets. But an important part of the trust control plane is to actually be able to close the loop, right? So suppose you identified some certificates that needs to be replaced for post-quantum migration or for weaker algorithms. You can tie data from AgileSec to Command, manage the search store, understand risk intelligence for prioritization, automate that workflow. But how do you know, for example, that that certificate that's been pushed is actually being used in the wild? Or if an application owner requested that certificate, did they put in the server? Did they restart the server? Did the server is running correctly? So the tighter integration that we are building into Command with the help of the Cypher Insights module that we have, which we are going to be enabling in the second half of this year next to both AgileSec and Command, allows you to have network level visibility into what is going on. So what connections are being made, what ciphers are negotiated, what type of TLS version it is. That network level visibility, real-time visibility, in addition to scan-based visibility from AgileSec and Command, gives you additional capabilities to actually do closed loop validation. For example, using the collections within Command, you can envision writing a query, show me certificates that enter the search store but hasn't been seen on the network in the past 5 days, right? Certificates that are hitting that query because Cypher Insights correlate things that it sees on the wire with certificates that are managed by Command. And if there's no last seen time, then you match that query. And those are the certificates that potentially have an operational failure, or for some reason they may not have been adapted, or maybe that's a certificate that wasn't supposed to be replaced in the first place because that's an application that is no longer in use. And maybe the right answer is to actually shut down the application or shut down the server, and maybe not even pay for that certificate that you might be acquiring from a third party, right? So this type of operational validation of not only what is on the endpoints, what is managed, but what happens to them in their lifecycle management is a great example of how we are thinking about the Trust platform as we bring these portfolio elements closer and closer together. This will be available in the second half of this year as an integration. We will start deploying this in the SaaS environments in the beginning, but then, of course, expand it to other deployment options down the road. Shifting gears a little bit, another product spotlight that I want to also call out. We talked about this a number of times, both in the second half of last year and early this year. But we are introducing a unified signing solution in the coming months. For those of you who are familiar with our signing solutions, we have two actually from Keyfactor that caters to slightly different use cases. Signum is more geared towards code and code signing applications with native agents that can use native tools on Linux, Mac OS, or Windows. And then we have the SignServer that is obviously a high performance, high scale, enterprise grade document signing solution that can handle a variety of different formats. And when you get Signum as a SaaS solution at the moment, it comes with a single cloud back HSM. Whereas with SignServer, you have more flexibility using REST APIs to use different HSMs. In this combined architecture, we will be offering a package solution in SaaS that essentially takes the best of both worlds. Allows you to use Signum through its native tools while having the option to actually use APIs or SignServer's sign client to sign documents. And because Signum in this architecture will use SignServer essentially as a backend, it allows you to hook it up to different HSMs as well. So it will allow you to bring your own HSM into the mix in addition to the cloud-based HSM that Signum used to support. So we are really excited about this, and I think it will enable a lot of our customers that are, especially those that need signing solutions, both from the enterprise IT perspective, but also from device manufacturing and coding perspective. This will be a turnkey solution. And finally, with the governance side of things, of course, a big part of any program after you observe, analyze, provision, orchestrate is to continuously understand whether you are moving the needle in the right direction, and then so that you can take the next action. Observe again, do analysis, do other provisioning and orchestration, and rinse and repeat. As I mentioned, this is now not a one-time deploy infrastructure, forget about it, like electricity, that it runs until something fails, but it's a living infrastructure that needs to be orchestrated. And I was talking to one of our customers a month ago, and he mentioned that at the end of the day, when post-quantum comes, and they are asked to be post-quantum ready, the state that he wants to be is not that morning he has to answer a call from his CISO and then scramble for taking action, but rather having this operational system so that it's another day in the business where some certificates may need updates, some certificates may be risk assessed, and or some needs to be newly provisioned. So that is the state that we want to help our customers grow into, along with our products and with our portfolio, as we build this trust control plane tighter together. And of course, the last part of it is governing. Right now, this is an area that we are actively investing in. A good place to start for those of you who had not seen the capabilities from, again, AgileSec is its ability to overlay customizable enterprise-based policy actions into the inventory that it actually collects, so that when you are making prioritization decisions, not only you can do it based on risk, but you can also do it based on what your enterprise's policy requirements are. So you can combine the two in one visibility, and then you can use that into orchestrating your actions around certificates with Command and other products that we have as needed. So we expanded the capabilities of AgileSec's policy classification across different sources, and that's available now. And but over the next quarters, obviously, the scenario that we will build tighter visualization across all our portfolio elements. I think that is the last slide for me. Thank you for your attention. I'm seeing there are some, I think, chat and comments that I haven't been able to read through as I was talking, and then we'll try to answer some of those things, I think, after the update. So back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Goon. I'll go ahead and share my screen if you don't mind, and we'll continue on the show.
Absolutely. There you go.
All right. All right, you should be able to see my screen now. All right. Thank you again, Goon. That was awesome to hear about all those events or all those updates. Before we learn about some customer events and updates that are coming soon, we have another poll question for you. So you should see again a poll question launch. We'd like to know if you'd like to learn more about any of the products you heard about today from Goon. Maybe some that you don't already have, EJBCA, Command, AgileSec, one of our signing solutions, and we can get in touch with you to make sure you're learning what you want to learn about and see if there's an opportunity there for you to embrace it. All right. And while you're answering that, I'm going to go ahead and keep talking because that's what I do best, I'm told. We're going to continue the show about customer updates. One event that I'm very excited to share with you, and I'd encourage everyone to put on the calendar, is Keyfactor Tech Days in 2027. It's happening February 23rd through the 25th, so that is just a short 7-8 months away. So plenty of time to book your flights out there at this point. This is our flagship trust security conference, bringing together over 300 engineers, architects, security leaders, and industry experts for 3 days and over 40 sessions focused on digital trust, machine identities, cryptography, AI, post-quantum readiness. It is a great opportunity to learn from peers, share real-world experiences, and help shape the future of the industry. And before we get there, you'll actually also see us at Black Hat this year, along with a series of Keyfactor Connect events throughout the fall of 2026 this year. Keyfactor Connect, if you don't know or haven't attended one yourself, is our regional meetup series bringing customers, partners, and security practitioners together for networking, technical discussions, customer stories, and conversations about the challenges shaping digital trust today. I know I personally was able to attend a couple of them earlier this year, and fantastic events. I know, Goon, you had the opportunity to join them. I learned a lot, and I heard from our customers that they took a lot of value away from them. And our last poll question for today will pop up momentarily, and we want to see if there's any interest or if you'll be attending any of our upcoming events. But while you answer that question, staying on the theme of connected, beyond our webinars, events, and monthly insider newsletter, we're launching a new Keyfactor community in Q3, which is any day now, honestly, that Q3 is starting, which is crazy. Seems like it was just the holidays. It will be a place where customers can connect with peers, access self-service knowledge and training, share best practices, and provide direct product feedback. If you'd like to stay up to date on everything happening at Keyfactor, scan that QR code on screen and sign up for the Insider program today. So I'm going to round out here before we jump into the most exciting part, that live Q&A. If the trust control plane is how, then our brand pillars of Keyfactor are the why. These are the outcomes that we deliver for our customers. First, we provide visibility and control, a single continuous inventory of everything. We're the only solution that provides unimpeded visibility of cryptography everywhere it lives and everywhere it's in use across every layer of the stack. And once they have visibility, customers are able to access their risk, exposure, and flag vulnerabilities. Next, we help rebuild a new foundation of trust. One that is both scalable and quantum resilient. So customers are able to issue trusted, cryptographically secure identities for every device, workload, and AI. Then there's the management layer. We help customers automate the life cycle of identities at scale so they remain trusted and secure no matter what changes in the future. And ultimately, this leads to a state of resilience so they can adapt to AI scale and post-quantum risk without disruption. And that leads us to what I would argue, and I've said it before, the most exciting part of today. And that's going to be our live question and answer with our product team experts. So you'll see them pop into the room here momentarily. There's Pedro. Goon's already with us. Please post questions in the chat, and we're happy to try to answer those live. Or if we're unable to get to them live, we'll get back to you directly or individually with an answer. So while we're waiting for questions to come in, which I know there are already a few, I'm going to pose a question here to a few of the experts. Magnus, first question is your direction. With Acme device attestation, what customer challenges are you trying to solve that traditional certificate enrollment methods don't address particularly well?
Yeah, so this is really about, so we focus on Apple devices in this first release, and Apple calls this managed device attestation with their terminology. That's actually linked to the secure enclave on hardware protected keys on Apple devices. So that means the key is generated in the secure enclave, then that communicates with the Apple backend infrastructure. And once the certificate is enrolled, we can be 100% sure that that device identity is not coming from a compromised device. It's 100% sure when we issue the certificate that that gives actually higher security in that device identity than the other methods. So that's overall giving higher security in enterprise device management.
All right. Next question is from Keith. Keith, love this question. But Goon, I'm sure you can help us answer this. So this system of trust, which I assume Keith is referring to, that trust control plane, is this all done within one universal customer UI, or is this several interfaces depending on the technology?
Yeah, that's a great question. The ultimate direction that we want to get to is a single unified portal across all the workflows. We are actively moving towards that reality. The customer portal, which many of our SaaS-based customers are already familiar with, where you have your products and tiles and some capabilities around self-service around them. We will be actively expanding that towards not only an entry point for managing this, but ultimately where all your workflows live. So you will see a lot of momentum in the coming months on as we build this around it. Right now, it's a transition for some of our newer products, especially with Cypher Insight and AgileSec. We are bringing them into tighter integrations. All of them are connected right now. All this product work together. So the integrations between AgileSec, Cypher Insights, Command, and etc. will be available in the second half. But from a pure single pane of glass, that's going to be the direction that we go. Right now, we are actively building that vision, starting with more capabilities in the customer portal for you to be able to start doing that from one single entry point to Keyfactor experience.
Awesome. Uh, Tomas, I know you answered in the chat, but in case anybody didn't see it, we had a question regarding an update on the automated domain validation, and I think you might be able to color that in a little bit more too.
Yeah, no, thanks. Great question. Yeah, yes, I did answer that on the chat. So, automatic domain validation that will be introduced with Command 26.2. That version is going GA in the last week of July. It'll be part of the any gateway. So, good things to come there on that version, as Gun already went through.
Perfect. Pedro, coming your way next. Visibility is often the first challenge that's faced when customers start using AgileSec. What are some of the most common risks or blind spots that you see that they are uncovering?
That's a good question. Well, if you think about AgileSec as a product overall, the objective is to see what you don't know, what you don't see. So in many organizations, what you're looking for are outdated cryptographic assets, items that are reused improperly, items that may be not meant for the use that they're doing, and things that can be compromised in the future with techniques such as harvest now, decrypt later. And so when it comes to looking for the assets, I would recommend that customers typically start at their core locations where their primary critical assets exist, and then start working out from that direction outbound to see what interacts with those. And that's generally good general best practices for almost any technology you're dealing with. But overall, I mean, uncovering where your assets can be compromised is where one would need to focus first.
All right, Ben, coming your way. Beyond traditional code signing, where are you seeing the most innovation or customer demand and asks and probably pounding down your door in the signing space today?
Yeah, I think like beyond just like maybe if you look 5 years ago, it was like, hey, I need to sign this binary. But now it's much more about, hey, I need to both sign this binary and know that this binary was built from this CI pipeline and is attached to this particular Git commit. So like the entire kind of provenance and attestation of that software supply chain. So you see that with stuff like some of the frameworks around Salsa, people, looking to deploy software bill of materials, container signing, Git commit signing, all of that stuff focused around securing the software supply chain more holistically than just, yeah, okay, I need to, okay, sign the binary. And then some people kind of even forget to worry about the validation, like in the later stages of that. So yeah, I would say that whole like bigger picture software supply chain piece of it is where I see a lot of people moving towards.
All right, Tomas, back to you. We heard Goon talk about the reusable workflows capability within Command. Seems like it could have a pretty broad impact. Can you share some examples of how customers might use it to improve efficiency or consistency?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. So if we have to do an example right of this, it would be how in the context of integrated, certificate revocation, expiration, and issuance, for example, certificate history, you can trace a lifetime of certificate, including issuance, renewal, expiration, locations, certificate metadata, configured per system basis, and it can be used to define queries, run dashboard data reports, workflows, and alerts, right? For example, so workflows now will be tied to a single particular key, template, or collection, and users can import that workflow to use the same functionality on a different key. In the past, this led to issues with workflow definitions diverging, right? Having to do multiple edits if something needed to change, and potentially introducing errors, right? The reusable workflow capability now allows us to avoid that extra work. And just with one single workflow, we'll be able to support multiple keys, and that will save customers time, reducing the risk of introducing errors at that point. So,
All right. And last question, Ben, if you can do this one in 1 minute, and then we'll be right on track with time. Somebody asked, I like expanding the customer portal with aids on deploying Keyfactor services like orchestrators and gateways. Any plan to provide aids on SignServer, especially how to deploy it and best practices using CI/CD?
Yeah, that's a good question. So later this year, we'll have some more self-service functionality built into the portal directly. So being able to do the self-service updates for SignServer, being able to manipulate the trust store. But on top of that, we've in the last like 6 months probably doubled the number of use cases we have documented between Signum and SignServer. We released GitHub Action for SignServer last year, so we're very much focused on that. And then I think, yes, you'll see more self-service capabilities and more easy out-of-the-box use cases coming from us related to the customer portal and the trust control plane.
Awesome. And with that, we are right at time. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Today was the summer 2026 Keyfactor product update. We appreciate you joining and spending a full hour with us. We hope you got some good value today. Reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.